Picture this. You walk into her life with calm confidence, not clinging, not begging, just quietly valuable. She notices you the way people notice a rare book on a crowded shelf. Curiosity first, then longing. Missing someone isn't an accident. It's the consequence of a presence felt, not explained. We're not teaching tricks, we're upgrading your presence, so absence becomes a weight she carries. Do fewer things desperately. Do a few things deliberately. The psychology lies in contrast. Warmth plus inaccessibility. Be the man who brings unpredictable value, but only when you choose to show up. This is about sculpting your life so it hurts her a little when you're gone and feels better when you're back. No manipulation, no cruelty, just craft, restraint, and emotional architecture. Learn the art. Practice these 7 moves, own them, and watch absence turn into a magnet. Ready? Let's make your quiet absence speak louder than 10 messy attempts at attention. 1. Create emotional contrast, give her warmth, then walk away. The single most magnetic dynamic in human attachment is contrast. If you're constantly hot, you become background noise. If you're always cold, you become a mystery she resents. The trick is warmth, plus selective absence. That's not a game of cruelty. It's emotional engineering. How to do it. When you're together, be fully present. Eyes, tone, small details. Mirror her mood when appropriate, laugh authentically, and create one memorable micro experience every meeting. A sharp insight, a private joke, a tiny thoughtful move. Those peaks form emotional hooks. Then, after you create a peak, don't try to immediately replicate it. Give space. Don't text for a few hours. Don't double like her stories. Let the memory of that peak simmer. Why it works. Memory waiting. Humans remember peaks and endings better than middling moments. If your time together includes a concentrated peak and then a clean, respectful exit, the peak calcifies in her memory. Absence allows the brain to rehearse the good parts instead of being overwhelmed by repetition. The brain learns to crave the sensation of that peak, and missing is the mental itch. Practical boundary rules. After a great date or conversation, leave while momentum is high. Say something like, "Tonight was sharp, I'll catch you later," and exit with warmth. Limit reactive checking. If she sends 3 messages in a row, don't answer instantly to everything. Reply to the most meaningful one with clarity. Schedule your own life priorities, a gym, friends, work. When you live well, your absence is meaningful, not punitive. Red flags to avoid. Cold silence that looks like punishment. Attention that vanishes entirely without any warmth. Lying about being busy. Those hurt, they don't attract. This method only works when your warmth is genuine. If everything is an act, absence will feel like abandonment, not a missed good thing. Practice this pattern until it's natural. The goal is for her to miss how you made her feel, not your texts. Emotional contrast, executed with integrity, makes absence into desire. 2. Build an unapologetic life. Be unavailable. Because you're valuable. Nothing sparks longing like someone who genuinely has things happening. When your life is rich, purpose, hobbies, friends, progress, you're not playing hard to get. You're living. The distinction matters. Women miss men who have momentum, direction, and self-respect because those traits signal resourcefulness and emotional stability. Start with fundamentals. Schedule non-negotiables. Work blocks, workouts, creative time. Don't cancel these for trivial social drama. Join groups where you level up. A book club, a sport, side project meetups. Build skill-based scarcity. Learn a craft, get good at something. Excellence attracts attention. It also gives you reasons to be absent without drama. Practical steps. Post less, live more. Social media updates should be highlights, not a play-by-play. When she sees you living life, photos from real experiences, short mentions of projects, she gets the message. You exist beyond the chat window. Cultivate at least 3 identity pillars, e.g., fitness, creative work, a close friend group. These are the reasoned activities that make you unavailable in an honorable way. Communicate with clarity when necessary. I've got a big deadline. I'll be quiet for 2 days. No guilt, no begging. Why it works. Humans attach to people who have direction. Availability flavored by value is different from needy availability. When you show that you have a life worth interrupting, your presence becomes a deliberate reward. Absence now contains meaning. She's not missing an idle guy. She's missing a version of you that improves her life. Boundaries and balance. Don't use "I'm busy" as a lie to avoid conversations you should have. The point isn't avoidance, it's prioritization. If she's important, make time when it matters. But the baseline should be that your life is not built around her reactions. Long-term effect. Living a committed, interesting life naturally raises your status and creates a psychological magnetism. People miss things that enhanced them. Be that enhancement. Be unavailable in the way a rare book is unavailable because it's out earning its value. 3. Emotional mirrors and gradual. Withdrawal, the pull of unfinished business. People obsess over unresolved emotional threads. Think of the classic phenomenon. You stop watching a series mid-season and the cliffhanger haunts you. Relationships follow similar rules. If you mirror her emotions accurately and then introduce a slight intentional pause, you create a soft cliffhanger she'll replay. Start by being the best emotional listener. Ask the right follow-ups. Name feelings out loud. That sounds exhausting. Or you made that room lighter. Mirroring builds trust because people feel seen. Then, toward the end of the interaction, ask one open-ended question you don't answer immediately. A next chapter prompt. Example. Tell me more about that project next time. Or what did you end up deciding? Then leave space to return later and actually ask about it. Why it works. Unfinished emotional loops create cognitive rehearsal. Her mind will return to you to complete the narrative. You're not withholding. You're planting a seed for another meaningful exchange. Execution rules. Use genuine curiosity. Don't deploy questions as a trick. If you ask, be prepared to follow up later. Leave with a micro-commitment, a promise that implies continuation. I want to hear how this turns out. That small promise creates anticipation. Don't be excessive. An unresolved loop, every interaction becomes annoying. Use it sparingly and meaningfully. Risks. Creating cliffhangers without ever returning kills trust. The goal is emotional magnetism, not manipulation. Return to the topic, show interest, and provide closure when the moment arrives. That follow-through is what turns missing into attachment rather than resentment. Examples. At the end of a call, say, "Next time, show me that playlist." Then, the next encounter, ask for it and actually listen. If she mentions a challenge, leave the conversation with a suggestion to think about and then follow up. I'll text one idea tomorrow. Do it. This technique respects agency while leveraging human curiosity. It's subtle, powerful, and ethical because it's based on real engagement plus disciplined absence. Make her feel heard, then give her something unfinished to think about, and she'll come back to finish the story with you. 4. Master the art of high-value scarcity. Less noise, more substance. Scarcity isn't about ghosting. It's about reducing noise and increasing signal. If every message you send is filler, you become background audio in someone's life. If your communications are infrequent but meaningful, they become events. That perceived rarity amplifies value. Audit your output. Are your texts reactionary or are they intentional? Replace "twid" or "you up" with a single line that carries weight. A witty observation, a short reflection, or curated content, a song, a photo that you think she'll genuinely like. These are high signal moves. When you limit quantity and increase quality, your absence suddenly feels expensive. Practical protocol. Text triage, respond immediately only to urgent or important messages. For casual banter, wait and reply when you have time to craft something thoughtful. Use formats that invite engagement. Send a short voice note telling a real anecdote. Send a one-sentence challenge. Share a photo with context. These perform better than 3 random emojis. Schedule value drops. A weekly check-in that's more than hello. A story, progress update, or a question that matters. Perception management. Scarcity only increases attraction when it's paired with generosity during availability. If you're stingy and aloof, scarcity breeds frustration. If you're generous and selective, scarcity builds desire. Examples of high value messages. Heard this song and thought of the way you described that storm. Link, a 20-30 second voice note with a real laugh and an observation about your day. A short, bold statement. Finish the pitch. Felt like I actually built something today. Avoid manipulative scarcity cues like timed read receipts, deliberate late reads as a power play, or withholding because of petty disagreement. These tactics damage trust and are transparent if used too often. Final outcome. When you make your presence meaningful and rare, absence becomes a generator of memories. She misses that sparkle because it only appears under your terms. Real, thoughtful, and impactful. 5. Become a generator of positive states. Joy, challenge, comfort. People miss others who change their emotional baseline for the better. Your objective isn't to be her emotional puppet master. It's to reliably generate states she values. Joy, intellectual challenge, calm comfort. When you consistently transform her mood in small ways, absence becomes a craving for that emotional upgrade. Be deliberate about the emotional categories you provide. Joy, light teasing, playful bets, small adventures. Challenge, philosophical, playful debates that nudge her to think in new ways. Comfort, calm listening, a neutral presence during stress. Implementation blueprint. Design mini rituals, a weird two-line joke you only share with her, a Friday check-in question, or a small adventurous suggestion like try this obscure coffee place on Saturday. Rituals create memory anchors. Mix emotional ingredients. Start with light joy, add a meaningful conversation, close with warmth. Emotional variety is more memorable than one-note interaction. Use timing. When she's low, offer genuine comfort without trying to fix. When she's high, match energy and escalate playfulness. Why it matters. The brain keeps a ledger of who made me feel better. If you're on the positive side of that ledger consistently, absence counts as lost currency. She'll miss the recalibration you provide. Boundaries for health. Don't pretend to be her therapist. Offer support and help find solutions, but keep professional or heavy emotional labor appropriately scaled. Avoid emotional manipulation where you induce highs and then withdraw to create dependency. Provide consistent, ethical uplift. Examples in practice? Send an occasional unexpected audio clip, a laugh, a quirky story, or a two-line poem. Those tiny artifacts become memory triggers. When you know she has a stressful day, text a short grounding phrase. You've got this, breathe, I'm here. Follow later with a check-in, not an interrogation. If your presence is a supplier of positive states, small, reliable, and varied, she will think about those moments in silence. Missing you will feel like missing a better mood, which is a powerful kind of longing. 6. Social proof and subtle status. Surround yourself with good company. Humans are social animals. Social context informs attraction. Being surrounded by good company signals that you're someone worth investing in. This isn't about flashy status or bragging. It's about a subtle network effect. When others value you, she'll unconsciously reevaluate your value. Build visible, believable social proof. Cultivate a small, solid friend group. Show up. Invest. Stories of you with friends tell a narrative. You're reliable, loyal, and connected. Do quality work in public spaces, events, community projects, team achievements. Achievements needn't be headline level. Consistency and craft matters. Be seen mentoring or helping others. Generosity to others signals abundance, not scarcity. How to present it without flexing. Share candid moments, a group photo, a behind-the-scenes snap, rather than self-promotional posts. Authentic scenes carry higher trust, higher. Let compliments about you come from others naturally. When people praise you, resist immediately one-upping them. Let the social proof do its job. Why it works. Social proof triggers evolutionary heuristics. If your tribe wants you, odds are good, you're more likely to be a stable partner. This increases desirability subconsciously. Practical steps. Host a small, curated get-together and post a casual moment. Not to show off, but to show that you exist in a warm, social context. Work on at least one public small achievement, a project, a competition, a shared creative output that you can reference. Introduce her to your friends when the time is right. Seeing you in social context solidifies your value. Avoid manufactured scenes, fake followers, or staged viral moments. They read as desperate and will backfire. Real social proof is built over time. Outcome. When she sees you embedded in meaningful social structures, your absence is not emptiness. It's the space someone significant once filled. Social proof reinforces memory. She'll miss the man who belonged to a tribe, not a man who begged for attention. 7. Be predictably unpredictable. Rituals that signal commitment flavored with surprise. Predictably unpredictable is the romantic sweet spot. Rituals create safety. Surprise creates chemistry. If you can combine a dependable ritual, a weekly check-in, consistent kindness, with occasional unpredictable moments of novelty, you become an anchor and a thrill simultaneously. Design your rituals. Choose one or two predictable gestures, a Sunday voice note, how did the interview go text, that show you care. Keep them sincere and low effort so they're sustainable. Layer in surprises, an unplanned concert invite, a handwritten note, or a spontaneous text that references an old private joke. Why the combo works. Rituals satisfy attachment needs, surprises light dopamine circuits. The mind misses what both soothes and excites. Ritual without surprise is comforting, but boring. Surprise without ritual is thrilling, but insecure. Together, they create durable longing. Implementation tips. Keep surprises scarce and meaningful. A surprise should feel curated, not random. Think about her interests and align the surprise to her world. Rituals should require low cognitive load, but high signaling power. A consistent message that says, you matter on regular days too. When you're absent, remind her of a ritual moment. A simple, thinking of you. Sunday note incoming. Primes anticipation and makes your absence active rather than empty. Ethical red lines. Never use surprise to cover emotional inconsistencies. Surprises should enrich, not patch holes. Rituals should not be transactional. If she realizes you're only kind when you want something, the whole structure collapses. Long-term pattern. Over months, these rituals, plus surprises, become a private culture between you. Private cultures create attachment because they're hard for anyone else to replicate. She starts to miss the pattern, the laughs, the small gifts, the steady check-ins, and missing becomes a habit in itself. Habit. The quiet power of absence. Missing someone isn't about tricks. It's about impact. You can't force anyone to miss you, but you can become someone worth missing. That's the difference between emotional manipulation and psychological magnetism. When you master emotional contrast, build a life that radiates purpose, and bring consistent positive energy into a woman's world, your absence becomes more than silence. It becomes a void that echoes. The truth is, people don't miss constant availability. They miss significance. They miss the way you made them feel calm yet alive, challenged yet comfortable, wanted yet free. You want to be remembered not because you begged for attention, but because your presence had gravity. Here's the paradox. The less you chase, the more she wonders. The more you prioritize your mission, the more she replays your moments together. And the more peace you project, the more chaos she feels when you're gone. That's the core of dark psychology and attraction. People crave what stabilizes and excites them simultaneously. If you can be both, the calm and the storm, she won't just think of you, she'll feel your absence as tension under her skin. But remember, every tactic loses its magic if it's fake. Don't simulate value, become valuable. Don't pretend to be scarce. Be genuinely focused. Don't withdraw to punish, withdraw to grow. The man who truly knows his worth doesn't chase love, he inspires it. And that inspiration lingers long after he's gone. So live well, speak less, move with purpose, make every interaction meaningful enough to replay in her mind. Be the chapter she reopens when everything else starts to feel predictable. When you master this level of control, she won't just miss your voice or your touch. She'll miss the feeling of being near a man who didn't need her to be complete. That's the deepest form of attraction. The kind that makes her double take its silence. The kind that turns your absence into obsession. Be the man who doesn't beg to be remembered. Be the man she can't forget.